So I am just on the BJJ Fanatics website, and what's amazing is now we've already talked about gravity is your friend, but there are 2 other instructionals that you might want to talk about.
Recently, I had the opportunity to work with BJJ Fanatics guy, and now we have 3 instructionals out there. We have escapes engineered for guys over 40. If you're 40 or more, hey, dig into it. Gravity is your friend. Sit-up sweeps. Been there for some time, and is really, really getting a lot of attention. And then we have the smash the knee folding pass. Now, that's one of my favorites. So if you haven't looked at them, take a look. BJJfanatics.com.
Welcome to Raw Radio.
And we're live.
Here we go. So
now we finally recording.
Yeah, everything wasn't running. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
Kieran Kichuk.
Kichuk?
Yeah.
If you don't know what we are talking about, you didn't listen to the episode. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Do you ever self-doubt yourself?
Constantly. Constant basis.
Are you willing
About
to,
everything.
Are you willing to open up on that?
Ah, jeez.
Well,
yeah. Why not?
I'm curious.
Sure.
you
I
know,
don't mind. I don't mind.
Share as much as little as you like, but like it's always very interesting topic, right? Because very close to us, to the inside, and we rarely share that kind of vulnerability with others, especially in a public format, right? So, what is your biggest? What is the more common fear points that you encounter?
I don't know. Is that fear? I don't know if it's fear.
Okay, self-doubt. I mean,
Yeah,
isn't
but
self-doubt part of fear?
Sure. I
don't
guess
know.
it can be. It depends. It depends because it's,
So what do you doubt yourself about?
Oh, name it. Name it.
No, come
but
on.
seriously.
Give me one.
Well, let's just keep it with jiu-jitsu. Constantly on the mats. From the fist bump. There's the fist bump. There's the initial engagement. And then there's whoever has the advantageous position, all right? Let's just say in the 7-minute round or whatever. It stops at that advantageous position, whether they have it or I have it, because now the work needs to get done. You know what I mean?
No.
I should probably think about it that the round starts. You and whoever are your partner, your opponent, whatever are going. And I'm always thinking like, where do I need to be? What do I need to do? Am I going to be able to do this? I'm not going to be able to do this. And then when there's a position that you find yourself in, whether or not I pass the guard or I'm in half guard or they pass my guard or I'm in bottom half, I find myself at that point, everything kind of goes out the window. I have to deal with the task at hand. So I can't, if I continue thinking like that, well, then I'm going to spend all round on bottom or being submitted multiple times, which happens anyway. But,
so does that happen because your mind wanders around and there is no specific task at hand, like at the beginning?
I've always played kind of reactionary, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
Also not putting in the work prior, which we talk a lot about. If you've put in that work, the result is the result. There's nothing you can do about it, but at least you know up until that point you're prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that talking to Kieran, there are people that say they have no self-doubt. There are people out there that say that they're confident always. They know that they can handle any situation. And that to me, I find that hard to believe, but I will not tell anyone that they're lying or saying that they're full of BS when they say that. I can only speak for myself. And Kieran was talking the same way that, there's always self-doubt. And he needs to manage it. And how does he manage it, right? And he can manage it in the moment. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought, but I think for me, it's always there. It's always been there. I think a lot of it has to do with my childhood, even latchkey kid. So like when I played football, it was my responsibility to get myself to practice. It was my responsibility to get my uniform as a, 10, 12-year-old kid. It was my responsibility to take the bus to get there and make sure I was there on time. And it was for practices and for games and stuff like that. That's just one example. So I was always thinking, am I ready? Am I going to make it on time? Am I going to be any good because I didn't have anybody really, helping me out at home. So all that stuff is swirling around in there. And if you don't learn at some point in your life how to process it, it can really, I think, become overwhelming for some people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that anxiety of just thinking and not knowing,
Yeah.
So in your mind, is it more of the unknown unknown factor of what's about to happen?
No.
Or is it a factor that you don't feel that you are capable of doing?
I'm either not prepared or I'm going to fail, whether or not I feel I am prepared. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is for me. I'm either
Okay.
I didn't do the work, or even if I did do the work, this person is, on the mats, they, younger, faster, stronger, more technical. They've put in the work, at former jobs. It's, they did more outside of the position, the tasks, to get a promotion or what have you.
Do you ever feel like, is there ever a point of 100% confidence with you? Like, have you found yourself in the past in a situation where it was like, no, there is no doubt here. I got this. I'm rocking this.
Yeah, I think so. Smaller things throughout, your life, for me at least. Times where I've had to give a presentation. I know it. I did it. I can get up. I can say whatever needs to, to keep these people engaged and to give them the information that I'm supposed to be relaying. And that all comes with being prepared, right? If you're prepared, you can control that self-doubt, I think.
So let me ask you this. So in that case, does the self-doubt goes away when you are prepared, even though you might not be an expert?
I think so. I would think you have to know how to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
And I think for some people, the majority of us, it's always there. But okay, so you're standing and you're in a room full of people and you're about to present something. Did I do everything I was supposed to get here? Or did I cram it all in last night? Look it up quickly. Yeah, right. Did you? Yeah. I don't know why this popped into my head, but you have to write a paper about something. If you take the time and do the research and write the paper and, you have your outline, you have your first draft, your second draft, and you think, you're probably okay to hand that in and know that you're going to get a positive response back. But if you waited and waited and waited, and then you're trying to steal from this and interpret that and get it all ready in the last week or what have you to present it, then you're probably going to be worried that, so you have that self-doubt, I think, either way. But that first example, you can tell yourself, I've really put in the work. I've done the best I could. I've exhausted every source of information. I've done this. I've done it over and over again. I've looked at it multiple times. I've had somebody look it over for me. So I'm good. Whatever happens, happens. It's out of my hands at this point, right?
And I think that's a key word right now, key phrase, right? It's out of my hands. I have maximized my effort going into this task at hand. So if this doesn't work, I know that I've done everything to make it successful, and factors outside of my control have impacted to the result.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
On the reverse of all of this, if we didn't maximize, and this is where you the analogy with paper or test, where I think that really kind of sunk in my head as I was listening to you. As we doing that paper in the last minute, it's due Monday and Sunday night. Boom, you're scrambling, you're typing it, you're doing quick research. Did anybody else write the paper? Let me copy it. Right? At that point, we know subconsciously that the effort going into that work wasn't maximized, which means we partially are in control whether this is a success or not.
Yeah.
Right? The result, if the result is not what's desired, we haven't done all the work we could have.
Right.
Right. And that might be leading into that self-doubt.
Sure. And then I do believe that if you've done all the work, you might still have self-doubt for various reasons. But in that inner dialogue, if you take things a positive way and put your ego aside and you say to yourself, honestly, I really did everything that I'm capable of doing, then I got to let it go. I got to be able to react to or respond to whatever happens. And that's what you own. You can't own that in between time,
right,
of when you've stepped up or handed something in, or, and what happens after, then you have to own your response to it. But it's hard. And I feel for people, who are always worried about things, or always think that they're incapable, or always think that, they're not deserving of things. That even though that they've worked hard, I don't deserve that promotion. I don't deserve that raise. I don't deserve to be happy. I've known so many people in my life that feel like they don't deserve these things. And I think that comes from self-doubt. They've talked themselves into either believing what outside forces have told them about themselves, or for some reason they've talked themselves into thinking that way about themselves. And I think that it's very, very hard to come out of that, to work yourself out of it. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, Gustavo Dantas talks about the self-confidence and the impact that it might have on our jiu-jitsu, especially in the competition scenario. Mm-hmm. And we've had him well over a year ago. I was looking up our database of episodes. He was episode 36. 36.
So almost 100 episodes.
Almost 100
years ago.
Yeah, 90-some episodes ago, right? So, but if that's a point of interest for you, I would encourage you to actually scroll down all the way to the bottom of the pit of our episodes and really look it up, search for it, because, he speaks very in depth on the topic of confidence in jiu-jitsu and how it impacts our performance, especially during competitions, but not only, how people cheering us with a good intent actually, and in our own mind, we create this negative vortex of what they will think, will I perform enough? How are they going to see me from this point on? And all that really sucks us into this negative outlook on the current situation and often on our life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's easy you don't want to disappoint anybody. It's easy to disappoint yourself because in your own head, you've probably done it. But you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to disappoint those people that came out to see you. And Kieran talked about it. Other people have talked about it. If they think any less of you because you gave it your all and still came up short, well, what do they really think about you to begin with? And do you really need them in your life? And, maybe you do need them in your lives, but maybe not for this, don't come to my competitions if this is how you view it, because you still need some of these relationships, but
all that is point of reflection. Right? Yeah. All that, essentially what we're saying right now, both of us same thing in different ways, is that it is a state of mind. It is a state of mind that can be managed, that can be approached in specific ways, and we can If not remove it, we can minimize it or have it at least under certain level of control, to minimize that anxiety and, ultimately make our training much better and make our lives, that much easier. Life is already complex. Why make it even more complicated?
Oh, we love to, though, don't we?
Yeah. Hey, listen, before we wrap this up, I love this quote. This is one of my favorite quotes of all times. And I actually pulled it out. I was trying to pull it up during the episodes, and I couldn't find it. And now I got it. So let me just read this, because this was really impactful for me, and it links into this topic directly. And Louis Carella, very popular quote from him is, "Lazy people do little work, and they think they should be winning. However, winners work hard as possible, and they still worry they are being lazy." Mm-hmm. And that goes directly into that self-doubt, even at the highest performance levels. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So don't be satisfied. Continue working hard. And I mean, this is, it's all about. But more importantly, love what you do, right? I mean, this jiu-jitsu thing is just awesome. I hope we get to do it until we are old and rusty.
Well, I've already, yay, because I'm old.
Have you? So, did you decide? Were you changing your Instagram? Okay, I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, you're gonna annoy a lot of people if you're listening to this. You should follow Gary.
I annoy him everywhere else. Might as well start annoying him on Instagram.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
All right. See you
later.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.